Good morning to all my fellow Toastmasters, the new Toastmasters and guests, if any. Well, I'm going to talk to you about the table topic session. Well, have you heard about this quote? Life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. Exactly a situation that we are facing in today's times, the new normal and the corona pandemic. Life has been spontaneous. Spontaneity is actually an integral phase of our life. And very thoughtfully in Toastmasters, we have a section to practice how to live up to the changes. The table topic section. In the table topics session, we're going to have we have a Toastmaster who's going to take care of the entire session, who is basically the table topics master. He's going to be the MC for this session. The table topics master is going to come up with certain topics and invite speakers who have not had a chance to speak during the meeting. So these speakers will be provided with a topic on the spot. This is a session about impromptu speaking. Sounds a little scary, but yes, we have been doing this day in and day out. For example, while at a job interview or even an employee dialogue. Finding the right partner. You are at a party, you find somebody interesting, but you do not know how to approach them. Table topics can rescue you in this situation. Dealing with your customers, specifically those who are annoyed. You may not be able to fix your product right at that moment, but definitely table topics will help you deal with the annoyed customer and make sure you can fix your bond with them. A small talk at a gathering where you don't know many people, or even the fast-changing world like today. So in a table topics session, as I earlier mentioned, we have two key role players. First is the table topics master, who's going to prepare and issue an original or creative topics for the table topics session. Then we have the table topics speaker, who's going to organize all the thoughts quickly and respond to impromptu questions or topics within 1 to 2 minutes. Now, what is there in the role of table topics master? Before the meeting, the table topics master has to coordinate with the TMOD, that is the Toastmaster of the day, and determine what is the theme for the meeting. Based on the theme, the table topics master derives simple, relatable, and engaging topics. Now you need to make sure that you don't embarrass your speakers. So the topics need to be simple. They have to be relatable so that the speaker has a chance to explore and share some experiences, and make sure that it's interesting enough for the audience. Next, it is the key role of the table topics master to make sure that everybody in the meeting gets a chance to speak. So look at the agenda and make sure you have a list of speakers in hand in advance. Then if you're new at the table topics master's role, initially you can have a draft speech, introductory speech, which is not more than a minute. During the meeting, introduce the objectives of the table topics for the benefit of guests and those who are new to the meeting. Then announce topic one by one and call the speakers to speak. Now make sure you do not give the same topic to two speakers. So the topics need to be different every time. Keep a track of time, because generally a table topic session is somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes. You can also take the support of your timer in order to understand how much time you have for the session to continue, based on which you can change the number of topics which you are going to take forward in the meeting. Conclude the session by handing over the control to the TMOD. What are the benefits? Well, there are a lot of benefits we speak about table topics for the table topic speaker. But there are quite a lot of leadership skills which you can develop when you play the role of the table topics master. Starting with planning, then preparation, organization, and time management. the table topic speaker. Well, there's a lot that you can get once you become a table topic speaker. Not just as a fluent communicator, but also a way of living. For any table topic speech, because it's a topic which you have not heard of earlier or you're not aware, you couldn't possibly prepare for it, there are some ways or speech essentials which are there in case of a table topic speech. Now, these are some mandatory components in a speech to make sure that you can connect with your audience. The first is a structure. Now, any table topic speech needs to have a structure which starts with an opening, then there's a body, and then there is a closing. The speech duration is another most important element that every table topic speaker needs to take in account. First is you need to speak for minimum of 1 minute and make sure you do not exceed 2 minutes with a 30 seconds grace allowed. There are various techniques which can help you structure your speech. One of them is Oreo, which I shall shortly explain in the next slide. There are a few recommendations for a table topic speech as well. First and foremost, make sure you listen carefully when the table topics master is announcing the topic. Pause for a while, take a deep breath, and settle your thoughts, because there can be too much that's happening along with you at that very moment. Start with a greeting. Any table topic session, at least when you're new, start with a greeting which is kind of comfortable and repetitive for you, which goes on something like, good morning, Toastmasters and guests. So what happens is when you have a greeting which is repetitive, it signals your brain that you are speaking something which is prepared in the background, and slowly you can transition and start with this new topic. Further, make sure that you share experiences or stories which are personal to you. Because if you want your audience to relate with you, it is important that what you're speaking comes out with a certain conviction and is genuine. So make sure you share short experiences and knowledge on the topic. Keep the remarks brief, as the time for the speaker is just from 1 to 2 minutes. Attempt using the word of the day just to challenge yourself once in a while. Try and make it a habit to use the word of the day slowly, as in how you get comfortable with the table topics. What are the benefits? There are a lot of benefits that I myself have found throughout the journey in table topics. But a few of them I personally relate to, which I would like to share with you. The first is improve active listening. Active listening basically is listening to the speaker without having an internal dialogue. So basically, when your table topics master is telling you the topic, you do not have the liberty to crowd your mind with lot of dialogue internally. So slowly and gradually, you will develop a practice of how to listen to somebody attentively. Secondly, quick and efficient task switching. Day in, day out, there are several roles that we play. While at work also, we keep switching the type of task that we are doing. In table topics, what happens is when you come on stage and when you have a topic announced for you, whatever is there in your mind at that moment or whatever you had been thinking earlier, automatically your mind has to switch to the topic that is given to you. This is an external stimuli. So you will get into a practice of switching quickly and efficiently to any task which is given to you. Next is flexible, critical, and structured thinking. As you know that there are a lot of changes that keep happening around us. But to effectively implement and come out with all our potential, it is necessary that our mind adapts to the changes quickly. So for that, your brain has to think flexibly on various topics, make sure that it can come up with logical reasonings and also structure the speech at the same time. It's not only about the speech, it's about every life experience that you go through. When table topic session, as in how you practice, this particular practice is going to be very easy for you, and you will be able to conveniently and flexibly switch from topics. Make sure that you can also structure your speech. Persuasional skills. Now here, because you're talking on a topic and you have a point of view, you have your own story to tell your audience, through this skill, you're going to, as in how you practice speaking on table topics, you're going to develop the skill of conveying your point to your audience in the most raw form, but a genuine way. Last, not the least, you're going to become a fluent communicator. So you would leave all the drafts and papers aside and go on the stage and speak your heart out. Let's just discuss in short about a table topics technique, because after this, we shall try hands-on table topics. Okay. So the Oreo technique. Now in the Oreo technique, if say for example, we have a topic, honesty is the best policy. In the Oreo technique, we start with an opinion. You either agree or disagree with the topic. In this case, I would like to agree with the topic. So I could make a statement like, I totally agree that honesty is in fact the best policy. Make sure your audience knows on which side of the story you want to convey the message. Second is the reasoning. Give them a valid reason of why you have that particular opinion. Well, I would like to say something like, honesty is the best policy, I totally agree. As being dishonest is actually a lot of hard work. There's a lot to remember. My peace of mind is lost. I really don't find it. I'm hearing some noise actually. Am I audible?
Carry on.
Okay. So followed by the opinion, followed by the reason. After this comes an example. So though you give a reason, you need to give, now how would your audience relate to it? Why you strongly feel so? So give them an example about it. Like back then in 10th standard during the prelims, I was really tense about scoring in trigonometry. So I decided, let me have a small chit which I can carry with all the formulas. While I was entering the examination hall, I was more worried about somebody finding out about that chit than the exam in itself. I couldn't bear the pressure. So I just took the chit and kept it back in my bag. That's where I understood that actually dishonesty is not a cup of my tea. So the example helps your audience understand and picturize the entire situation that you had been in, and they can relate more to the topic. Then end with an opinion. Therefore, I would say, honesty is the best policy. So in this way, you can structure your speech. You start with an opinion, give a reason, then give an example, and again an opinion.